the sight of a doctor's bill in your mailbox causes anxiety, you are not alone. You don't even want to open it, right? Well, at least 20% of Americans have outstanding medical bills on their credit records. So, CNBC senior personal finance correspondent Sharon Epperson is here to tell us why we should handle that. We know we should, but more importantly, how to handle it before it becomes a bigger problem.
It's why I don't check my mail, because I know they're in there.
You need to check your mail.
Admittedly,
and it's
awful.
peppy because you're going to figure out how to pay your bills now in this segment. So that's why we're happy.
So we will be dancing.
It's so important to do it because if you don't open that bill and you get into debt and that impacts your credit score, then that impacts your ability to rent, buy, insurance, job even. So it's important to do.
You know what happens? People open up an envelope and then it's an unexpected medical bill.
Yes, I just got one.
Right. You don't think it's going to come in, and so that's why you have to really investigate why you got this bill in the first place.
So you should investigate it.
Before you pay anything, you need to investigate it. You need to make sure that you get an itemized bill. Make sure you know all the procedures and services that they're charging you for, and that those are things that you actually got, and compare that.
You can't fight it. Like you feel like you don't know.
You get something else in the mail too that's really important. Some people may throw away. It's called an explanation of benefits. It says at the top, "This is not a bill," so then you throw it away. No, this is what you need to see what the insurance company is charging you, and compare that with that itemized bill. Scrutinize those details and make sure you compare and contrast. And if there's a contrast, you have a problem. There's an error there. The good thing is things are changing. So, for years, if you went to perhaps a hospital and you had an emergency situation, you may have a provider that's not in your network. That happened to me when I had brain surgery 7 years ago. I got this bill a month later, and it said that I had this provider out of network and I had to pay this bill. And I'm like, wait, I didn't have a choice for that. I'm in an emergency situation. That's a surprise bill. Now there is a law that was enacted and went into effect in 2022 called the No Surprises Act. And the Center for Medicare and Medicaid has a place on their website, cms.gov, that you can go to and file a complaint. I was in the hospital. This was an emergency situation. I shouldn't get this bill.
Really?
So you can call a helpline or you can do that. So it's very important to know your rights.
It's good.
I've gotten these bills in the mail. I call the hospital or the doctor's office and I say, what is this? They say, don't pay it. It's still going through your insurance. So they tell me actively to not pay this bill. So what do you do in that situation? Or if you notice there are errors on your bill, how do you handle it?
So there's a terminology, CPT. It's current procedural terminology. You don't need to know what it stands for. You need to know that it's a billing code, and you need to use those letters to that provider so they know that you know, I want to know exactly what I'm being charged for.
Wow.
You can look that up online, review those numbers. The other thing that's important to do if you are changing jobs or changing insurers, make sure the claim has been submitted to the right insurance company. That's really important. And as you're getting the CPT codes, as you're getting the information, keep a journal. Make sure you keep records of what's happening. Gather all that information. And if the provider is still not listening to you or the insurer, you want to deal with, call the insurance company, file a complaint with the insurance company, and if that doesn't work, you can go to your state insurance commissioner to file an appeal.
Good to know there are options. What if you needed the care? Maybe it was an emergency and the bill is just higher than you expected it was going to be. Are there resources out there to help you get it paid off?
That happens to so many people. The first thing that you may want to consider doing is just to negotiate the amount. Figure out, go online and figure out what the CPT code is and what normally should be paid by your insured and by you for this, and offer to pay that lump sum amount. Even if it's less, sometimes a provider will take it to get that bill just wiped out. You want to also think about setting up a payment plan with that provider and making sure that you can pay whatever you say you're going to pay every month, because that's so very important. The health savings account that many people have access to through having a high deductible health plan, that tax advantage way that you're putting away money every month this is what it's for. It's to use it for these costs. So that's another way to pay those bills. But for low-income folks, you need to understand that for-profit hospitals need to offer you some financial assistance if you qualify for it. So whether it's Medicaid or subsidized insurance or going through a charity care program at the hospital, very important to look at those options. And the one that I know most people go to, I'm just going to put on my card, which is okay as long as you're going to pay that off right away, because you don't want to put medical debt and then have more debt on top of that because you're paying interest on that credit card bill.
So put it on a low interest
card. Put it
card.
on a low interest card, 0% interest credit card preferably, but those promotional offers usually expire in 12 to 18 months. So be very careful if you're using a credit card.
I'm glad you're talking about that. If you don't have money, you still try to have the procedure, because people will put off procedures because they're afraid that they can't pay for it.
Absolutely. You know? It's so important to still go through with whatever. Your health is so very important, and you want to make sure that you get the best care, that you understand the care that you're getting, that you talk to your doctor and say, is this exactly what I need, or could I do something else? And make sure that you can try to afford it. Talking to the hospital ahead of time, making sure that you investigate those different programs, really key.
There's help there. Sharon Epperson is always, and we're happy you're here with us in Health and Wellness, because you've had such a scare.
Thank you very
much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's brain aneurysm awareness month, so I'm happy to raise awareness about health and wellness all the time, but especially right now.